Simmons is going to come now from Bikes for Christ. Tell us about the work that he's doing, getting bicycles to people that need them and things like that. And we're going to contribute to that as well today. We've already written the check and I give it to him already. So I was hoping he wouldn't leave. But we've already given a check, $250 for the bikes that he can use to refurbish whatever needs to be done. And this time of the year, I'm sure that could be good cause. And it's Christmas time and holiday time, so we're glad for that. So, Pat, you come and lead us as God leads you.
Thank y'all for having me today. So whenever Pastor was trying to get hold of me, I was actually out at Treasure Island, my favorite getaway to decompress and just get away from everything for a while. So he called the business line and left a message on Friday. I'm like, okay, well, I'm on the beach. I'm on island time right now. I'll call him back on Monday. The next day, Saturday, he called and left another message. I'm like, I think I need to call him back now. So I appreciate that. And as I told him, and I'll bounce around a couple different things with this, but whenever I first started Bikes for Christ, I thought, well, churches will love to have me come speak to them. And I quickly found out that's not the case. A lot of churches have their own agendas, and they have they're structured a certain way, and it's hard. It's really hard to get into churches and be able to share, which is, even to this day, it's amazing, because here we are 7.5 years down the line with Bikes for Christ, and we've got a resume, and we've got the accolades and everything, and even still, it's hard for churches to open the doors and let ministries come in. It's really amazing. It blows me away. But again, thank y'all for having me here today. So I'm going to share some testimony. I call it the good, the bad, the ugly. And I got my mom here, so she's probably wondering what's going to come out of my mouth. But whatever comes out will be the truth, whether good or bad. So I'm born and raised in this community, and I was blessed to be born to two wonderful Christian parents. I wrote a song, and the first line of it goes, I wasn't lucky, I was blessed, had two parents that strove for righteousness. And I did, and my brother and I were extremely lucky to have that, because a lot of people don't have that. So I was brought up in church, First Baptist Dover, where we still belong to this day. And, we were there Sunday morning, Sunday night, Wednesday night, the whole thing. Involved in every church activity possible. And if there was somebody getting married or somebody passed away, it was assured that my father would be singing at those things as well. So there was all those extra times we'd be at church as well. And then, my senior year of high school, I was vice president of Fellowship of Christian Athletes here at Plant City High School. But then you graduate high school, and the world opens up. Mm-hmm. And you want to experience the world. And that's not always a good thing, but it is a learning experience. So that's what I did. I'd gotten into working in retail sales and management at that point, and so with that comes working on Sunday. So I'd always been in church on Sunday. Well, that took me away from church on Sunday. And then in my mid-20s, I finally decided that I would go and I would pursue that music career that I'd always wanted to pursue. And I moved to Nashville and started recording up there, and put out a CD and did a bunch of stuff with that. But again, that opens up a whole new world to you as well, and everything that comes along with that. And then in the early 2000s, I got involved with the girl that really took me down a whole path that I hadn't ever been down before. And that was the world of drugs. And for those two that are here that went to high school with me, when I say that I smoked crack for 5 months, that probably comes as a surprise, but yeah, I did. But luckily, I don't have that, addiction inside of me. And I knew that's not who I was or what I was supposed to be doing. And at the time, she was living with me, and I pretty much put it out there. I said, either the drugs have to go or you have to go. She went. She went. But that relationship affected me a lot in a lot of different ways. You know, I'm just sharing all these trials and tribulations with you so I can finally get to what brought on the whole Bikes for Christ. So then I met another girl. And she wasn't into drugs, so that was a good thing. But she was in a cycle. And so that was something I've been wanting to get more serious about, and that's how my love of cycling came about. And we became involved in everything, and I felt on the surface that we had everything in the world in common, because it seemed that we agreed on religion, it seemed that we agreed on politics, which are two pretty important things if you're going to be involved with somebody. And it wasn't until I finally said, man, I love this girl and I want us to be serious and be together, that I found out that her religion was slightly different than mine, being that she was a Mormon. And so at this point, she was wanting me to go to church with her and come to her faith. And at that point, then I really challenged myself, not only to dig in to find out more about what they believed, but also to go back to what I was taught growing up and to see where the truth was really at. And I'm happy to say that the way that I was raised and the things that I was taught are the truth.
Amen.
And so another relationship didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
But you grow. And during that relationship, I had wanted to go on a mission trip for years, because First Baptist Dover established a church in Nicaragua over 20 years ago. And I'd wanted to go, but I was scared to fly. But I found out if you take enough Xanax, you can do anything. So I got on that plane, and I flew to Nicaragua, and it changed my life. I saw what real poverty was, not what we have here. I saw people that have zero resources to help, to get the help they need. They have nothing. And it really changed my heart. And I came back, and I was on fire. I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what it was. So one of the missions that my church supports is called Amazing Love Ministries. And it's a feeding and clothing ministry that's down kind of near Ybor City. And so finally one Monday, the third Monday of every month is when we provide the food for the feeding. And I went down there, and I enjoyed it so much, I started going every Monday night. Even though my church was only there the third Monday of every month, I started going every Monday night. And then I'm like, well, man, this is great. I want to get involved in another ministry. And I found another ministry called Kay's Ministry. And these were people that were actually, instead of the homeless coming to you, like at Amazing Love Ministries, we were feeding right in downtown Tampa on Sunday afternoons, sometimes under the overpasses, sometimes right in front of the courthouse and everything, just throwing up tables and feeding and witnessing to people. And finally, at that point, that light bulb goes off. God speaks to me and says, you can help these people with transportation. And so that was a perfect joining of my passion for cycling that I had and something that actually had purpose. And I was able to introduce the gospel message into that as well. So in March of 2016 is when I founded Bikes for Christ. And we have grown tremendously in that amount of time. So what we do is we provide transportation to organizations that work directly with people in need. So for instance, let's say a case manager at Metropolitan Ministries is working with someone that's really trying to overcome whatever has been holding them back, and they think a bicycle could be life-changing. They place an order with us, and then with every bicycle that we give out, you're going to get a Gospel of John, or you're going to get some other scriptural text with how you can be saved. So that goes out with every bike that we send out. So 7.5 years later, we're working with over 100 organizations in the parts of 5 counties here in the Bay Area. I'm overwhelmed by that. I don't even know how it happened except for God's help. But the bottom line is our bikes allow someone to find a job, keep that job, and put food on the table for their families 365 days a year.
Yes.
And we hope that it also, if they don't know Christ already, that they do just by the simple gift that we provide along with the bicycle. So as I stated, some of the organizations that we work with are just your smaller nonprofits up to your larger nonprofits. So this is just a short list of some of those. I mentioned Metropolitan Ministries, but you've got Echo in Brandon. We work with James A. Haley, VA, Salvation Army, Catholic Charities, Hillsborough County Sheriff's Homeless Coalition, Florida Department of Corrections, St. Vincent de Paul, and the Children's Board of Hillsborough County. Other opportunities have come along for us. We have had the opportunity to send bicycles to Haiti. I did the first international gifting of bicycles on a mission trip to Guatemala. And this is a great story. We were doing a village transformation project in this village of about 750 people up in the mountains there. And so the first 2 recipients of our bikes were the pastor of our church that we were building there, because he needs to get around and establish his flock and continue to build. And the second bike went to the former town drunk who got saved and now teaches Bible study every day. So 2 very deserving individuals were the first recipients of our first international work. And then 4 years ago, we were contacted by an organization, which their president actually lives here in the Brandon area. And it's the Tampa Bay Liberian Community Association or something. It's about 6 words long. But he goes, would you provide bicycles for children in Liberia, Africa? So my first question was, who's providing the transportation to get these bikes over there? He said, we are. I said, yes. So for the 4th year in a row, we'll be sending bikes to Liberia, Africa to kids. And of course, with every bicycle with those, kids are a little bit different because it's hard to find a good scriptural text for kids, but we do send wristbands that say Jesus loves you and other stuff like that along with these bikes, because we at least want to get that message somehow in there. And then more recently, I say just in the past month, I was contacted by this student at University of Indiana, Bloomington. He's on the Godspeed cycling team. And he says, we were looking for sponsors and found you on the internet. Think you'd be a perfect fit. I think so too. So we were able to do a small sponsorship with them. And then we were contacted. We're aligned with an organization called Billion Dot Global and have been for several years. And what Billion Dot Global does is their mission is to spread the gospel to over 1 billion people. And they have been contacted by another organization. We're working with them out of Malawi, Africa. And so this organization came to them and said, do you have anybody that might want to provide bicycles for pastors here? Billion Dot Global contacts me and says, what would you like to do? I said, I'd love to do that. And the best part is that they provided money as well. Not Billion Dot Global, but the organization doing it, because that shows a lot. They've got skin in the game now. Then yes, we want to come alongside you and help to do that. And this week I was able to get pictures back from the first gifting of 6 of those bicycles to these pastors. And it's just amazing to be able to see that you're making an impact on the other side of the world in that type of way. Success stories locally. I always like to share this, and one I can share actually is a Plant City story. There's an organization that operates, I think the name of the apartment complex down here is Hunter's Ridge, or it used to be, but it's just right down the road. And there's an organization that works out of there, and they contacted me a couple years ago and said, I've got 2 exchange students here that are attending HCC, two young ladies, and they had bikes, but their bikes fell apart. I'm like, okay. So they placed an order, delivered the bikes to them. And when I delivered the bikes, I was like, man, I'm just wondering, because these girls, they've been having to walk at this point. How far, they're attending HCC in Plant City, how far are they walking? And I put it in 4 miles each way. So we were able to give them bikes, and they were both going to veterinarian school. They both graduated. One of the girls decided that she was going to keep her bike. The other girl, though, donated the bike back. We were able to refurbish it, send it out to somebody else in need. So that's a pretty cool story right there. As far as opportunities to get involved with us, we are always looking for volunteers and have volunteer opportunities all the time. We do a lot of different events, and they range from this past week. On the same day, we were at a team. I had a team at the Sheriff's Department quarterly homeless outreach, which is directed right, to the people that are in need. And then I also had a team at a market down in Kings Point in Sun City Center, talking to the general public, telling them about what we do. So we have opportunities like that if you're looking to get involved. And of course, we always need bicycles. If you have a bicycle you'd like to donate. We need people to sometimes pick up and drop off bikes. And if you're a person that likes to get up and speak and interact with people, we also belong to several chambers. And so we need people to represent us at the chambers as well. So that's basically what I have, and I'd like to open it up for any questions.
Now, you said donating bicycles. Do people actually donate bicycles to you?
Yes, because we can't do what we do without the bicycles. So whenever I first started this, what I did is I placed ads looking for bicycles on Facebook Facebook didn't have Marketplace yet when I started this. They just had garage sale, yard sale sites. So I posted those ads, and that's how the bike donations started coming in. Now at this point, they come in pretty regularly because we have a bunch of drop-off points. Our drop-off point here in Plant City is actually Jared Scott Ford. They're nice enough to be one of our drop-off points. So it doesn't necessarily, we have bicycle shops that are drop-off points as well, which makes sense because they're bicycles. But then we also have businesses like Jared Scott Ford. The original Beef O'Brady's in Brandon is a drop-off point for us. So it's like if these businesses are willing to act as that for us, that's a huge help for us. Back to your question, yes, it's all donations. Mostly used bicycles is what we get, but sometimes we get new bikes as well.
What kind of condition do you receive them in?
Well, we'd love for them to be perfect, but that's that's never the case. So that being said, rideable or close to rideable condition. We do have a shop. and we got guys that come in and work on the bikes. So we do have that covered. Yeah, we've got a shop that can fix anything that's fixable. But again, we want it to be rideable, close to rideable. That way we can turn it around quicker and get it out to someone in need.
Do you have to get parts from other businesses or?
Yeah, we could, I'll put it this way, we're a full-fledged bicycle shop. We can do whatever needs to be done.
Can you take the 3-wheel bikes?
Yes, sir. Yep, and there is a need for those. In fact, here, just in the past, we don't get orders for those a lot, but when we do, it's nice to have them, because just in the past 3 weeks, we've got an order for 3 of them, where for 6 months, we didn't have an order for any of them. So it just comes in cycles, I guess what you could say. Other questions?
If somebody wants to get a bike, the sister's disabled, and how would she go about requesting one?
Okay, so the way that we work is we work through organizations. So in most cases, that's going to be, like I was saying, Metropolitan Ministries, an organization like Metropolitan Ministries, where they're working directly with somebody and they place that order on their behalf. But we also work through employers, because employees may sometimes have transportation issues. And we also work through schools quite a bit as well, with school counselors, to ensure that kids are getting bicycles to get back and forth to school, and also foster homes as well. For me, every kid deserves a bicycle. So,
You say you work through the VA too?
yes, sir. Yeah. And another good stat there, for the past 3 years, and we're over that already, but for the past 4 years, we've averaged over 100 bikes to veterans a year.
So how would a person that's disabled be able to get a bike?
And they would,
Saying they don't have a job, they can't get a job because they're disabled. And I
and
guess,
somebody's case managing them in some way, whether it's their doctor or
okay, through the doctor
yes.
might place
Yeah.
an order, okay.
Yep.
That's what I was asking about for her. So the doctor could ask for a bike.
Yeah.
Or a trike or whatever, a
Yeah.
tricycle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh, tricycle, yeah. Do you have, like special needs bicycles? Say like, somebody that only has one arm or something?
No. No.
I've
Yeah,
seen,
not unless something's donated.
I've seen like, for, veterans, being a veteran, I've seen them where they've lost limbs
Mm-hmm.
and they have to pedal it with their hand.
Yep.
Uh,
We would only have it if something were donated.
okay.
Yeah. Which is nice to have on hand, because you never know what the request may be. But that would be a rare request for us.
Okay.
Anybody else? Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.